G'day guys and gal. Sometimes maths is more art than maths. Nothing proves this more than the Grey Knights. So usually when you combine Psykers, the Emperor's Gene Seed, Malkador the Hero's Orders, and a cool armor design, you get some badass warriors of order, hell-bent on justice and defeating their enemy through the imperial truth that is etched on the very organs they use to gain their power. Instead, we get uppity assholes who purge the shit out of anyone that sees anything shaped like a horn. Rough time to be a bloody goat farmer in the Imperium with these assholes around. It is quite sad to see how corrupted and twisted the Inquisition has become, and I would have liked the Grey Knights to rise above it. However, they too get dragged through all the bullshit politics that infect the very core of the Imperium. Despite my little rant about the Inquisition, the Grey Knights are definitely the most interesting, mysterious, and unique Loyalist chapter of the Space Marines. At one point, you could say they were also the most powerful, but then Logan Grimnar shoved his axe so far up their ass that they vomited up dog hair. At least their armor design is awesome though. Today we'll go over who the Grey Knights are and what are their origins. We'll also have a look at some of distinct Grey Knights and some other cool things they've done, or uncool things they have done. Spoiler alert, they've done some pretty uncool things. Let's get into it. When Horus went full bold cunt mode and declared jihad on the Emperor, the Big E was like, "You've activated my trap card," and sent his best buddy Malkador off to go recruit a bunch of cool kids to form a new overpowered boy band. Malkador searched every corner of the Imperium and eventually came across 12 dudes who fit the bill. 4 of them were noble lords who would form the Inquisition, and the other 8 were powerful Psyker Astartes who would form the Grey Knights. The Emperor was like, "Malkador, my boy, fuck yeah, this is sick," and he sent Malkador off to the moon Titan to prepare the Grey Knights. Malkador took the 8 Space Marines as well as hundreds of thousands of potential recruits to the Titan moon and started sorting out their shit. When Captain Baldcunt began finally breaching the Imperial Palace after weeks of being a failure, Malkador returned to Terra, but not before casually flicking Titan into a safe space in the warp. I think sometimes people aren't sure just how powerful Malkador was, so I will repeat, he threw the planet into the fucking warp. We all know what happened next. The Biggie and Sanguinius got their shit kicked in before the Golden Man hit Horus with a fat Kamehameha! With Malkador dead, the Big E a vegetable, and everyone else focusing on reforming the Imperium, there wasn't many people who knew of the Grey Knights' existence, so when Titan popped out of the warp, people were like, what the fuck? What had only been a couple years since the Siege of Terra was dozens if not hundreds of years on Titan, hence the Grey Knights emerged as a 1,000-strong, uncorruptible chapter of Psyker Space Marines. Now you might be like, what makes the Grey Knights so special? And the answer is their gene seed comes straight from the Big E himself. So yeah, pretty special. How awesome they could have been if the Inquisition wasn't just like, yoink. Like, the Grey Knights are awesome and do cool shit, but I think a bit of bad writing here and there makes them seem like the Inquisition's lapdogs and not the true sons of the Emperor. The Grey Knights are the Warhammer equivalent of demon hunters. They were engineered purely to combat chaos, hence they were basically super space marines. If a demon Primarch pops up, the Grey Knights are the ones that banish their daddy issue infused asses back to the warp. That hasn't changed in the last 10,000 years. What has changed is the Grey Knight's Supreme Grandmaster Janus. With Janus' departure, a lot of political bullshit and misinterpretation of the Emperor's will happened. Gee, the Inquisition misinterpreting the Emperor's will, whoa, no way, that never happens. Before I get more into that, let's talk about our Supreme Grey Overlord Janus. Now Janus is actually a bit of a Primarch himself. Basically, when the Space Wolves got kind of tricked by Horus into destroying Magnus's planet, Prospero, a 1,000-son marine by the name of Reviel Arvida, I'm just going to call him Revi though, cause fuck saying that name. Now Revi rocks up and sees his planet blown up and he's like, WTF dude? The Khan then rocks up and is like, yo Revi, you seem cool, come with me, and they head back to Terra. This makes Revi one of the only Loyalist 1,000 Sons, as he wasn't present at the Fairy Convention. Sadly, on the trip back to Terra, the flesh change, a nasty strain of the coronavirus, began to take Revi by the balls. As they arrived, Revi was on death's door, so Malkador was like, what if I combine the noble shard of Magnus with Revi? So he did it, and it creates this absolute elite being known as Janus. Janus upheld the values of the Emperor himself and was literally an embodiment of nobility, hence the Grey Knights waged a silent war against chaos, descending from the heavens as angels of righteous silver, purging the heretics like I purged Timmy's anal cavity. Now Games Workshop in their infinite wisdom haven't really told us of the fate of Janus, however he appears to be dead. I'm hoping there is some kind of story which details the end of Janus, and hopefully some way that the noble shard of Magnus can live on in some form. I'll fucking say it, gimme Loyalist Magnus. After Janus, the following Supreme Grandmaster of the Grey Knights allowed his chapter to be brought into the Inquisition to be used as one of their weapons. This meant that despite maintaining their badass demon-kicking purpose, they were also roped into genociding innocent people of the Imperium. See, the God Emperor of Mankind had wished that the knowledge of chaos be kept away from everyone, as ignorance towards chaos was a genuine protection against it. The Inquisition became obsessed with this, however, hence anyone who wasn't important or wasn't an Astarte or above was basically not allowed to know about demons and the truth behind the Horus Heresy. Whenever they did learn something about it, the Inquisition would rock up and either brutally mind wipe them or just kill them, their family, and, everyone within 100,000 square kilometers. At times, they destroyed even entire planets that had survived a war against chaos just due to the small exposure and small chance that they now could get corrupted. This all came to a head during the First War of Armageddon, when Angron became an uppity little cunt and led a fuck-off huge and demon invasion of the planet. The Guardsmen heroically fought side by side with the Grey Knights and the Space Wolves as they banished the angry boy back to the depths of hell. Now the Inquisition were like, "Thanks guys, now everyone who fought with us will be executed and the rest of the planet will be sterilized and sent to labor camps across the galaxy." Keep in mind the First War of Armageddon wasn't a planet-wide conflict. The vast majority of Armageddon inhabitants were unaware of chaos and its involvement in the war. Logan even took extra steps to make sure they were untainted by chaos, Logan being the head of the Space Wolves. Despite Logan basically being like, "Please don't kill millions of innocent people," the Inquisition, and by extension the Honourable Grey Knights, had already made up their mind. They blew up the first civilian transport and killed 400,000 people in a blink of an eye. Logan then ordered all the transports to leave at once and then body blocked them with Space Wolf transports that would be really hard for the Inquisition to shoot them. Despite this, the Inquisition chose to shoot through the Space Wolf ships. Bad idea. Before it could get really messy, Space Wolf reinforcements arrived and gave them a massive advantage over the Inquisition, forcing them to stand down. Millions of civilians were able to escape the system. What happened next was actually quite bad. The Inquisition basically treated everyone that had just escaped Armageddon as having hardcore coronavirus, hence a number of planets were exterminated, just for the crime of a transport ship stopping there to resupply. The Space Wolves continued to try to protect who they could. Now to the Grey Knights' credit, they weren't super keen on what was happening. They were demon hunters, yet they were dedicating their resources towards the very people who helped them kill demons. Despite this, they still fell in line and helped the Inquisition do some pretty dog shit to the Space Wolves, such as calling for a parley, then opening fire on diplomatic Space Wolf ships. This was not a smart idea, as Logan teleported onto the Inquisitor ship, killed the Grandmaster of the Grey Knights, killed a few more Grey Knights, and then teleported back to his ship and fucked off. Once again, don't fuck with Logan Grimnar. The Inquisition abandoned their plans on containing the people of Armageddon, and instead decided to go to Fenris and hold the planet hostage, so Logan would surrender. Logan, not keen on this, arrived in Fenris, boarded the Lord Inquisitor's ship, and began massacring the Grey Knights before finally decapitating the Inquisitor Lord behind all of this. Do not fuck with Logan Grimnar. Logan was content to kill every last Inquisitor and Grey Knight in the system, but Bjorn was like, "Chill dog," and a truce was met. Now during this war, the Grey Knights expressed reluctance to kill civilians and fight Space Wolves, however they did so anyway, with their Grandmaster being the one who ordered the Space Wolf diplomats to be fired upon. Imagine explaining this to the Emperor. Yes, so the Space Wolves and Guardsmen helped us defeat Angron and save a crucial Imperial planet, and in return, despite the population being most likely untainted, we attempted to genocide Armageddon and also attack the Space Wolves, one of the most loyal legions there ever was. When the Space Wolves saved a few million people, we decided to purge 10 billion more to catch them. and then we finally orbitally bombed Fenris.
Delete.
Like, god damn it, just let the Grey Knights be demon hunters. It's really stupid that they're painted like the Inquisitor's dogs. Like, sure, work with the Inquisition, but surely don't take a part in their politically fueled superstitious bullshit. The uncorruptible Silver Angels are painted as weak and pathetic during the Months of Shame, which leaves a bad taste on an otherwise awesome chapter. So thank God for Kaldor Draigo, who reminded the Grey Knights of what they truly were, overpowered demon killers who are lots of fun to talk about.
But Major Kill, isn't Kaldor Draigo so stupidly overpowered at this point that he is basically just a meme?
Shut your filthy heretic mouth, Timmy, before I exterminatus your mouth with my cock. Yes, Kaldor Draigo is a massive meme, but I like memes, so let's keep going. Draigo first appeared when he killed the greater demon of Titsnich Mkar, but not before Mkar spat out some lame-ass prophecy. After that encounter, Draigo quickly rose through the ranks of the Grey Knights until he was second in command and on a mission to fight the demon Primarch Mortarion. Mortarion killed Draigo's master and kicked Draigo's ass, but then something happened. The very fabric of the universe buckled and a shift of power was felt by all. Matt Ward's Ultra Cheese plot armor had been siphoned from the Ultramarines and funneled into only one vessel, Kaldor Draigo. With his new awesome plot armor, Draigo defeated Mortarion, a demon Primarch, and carved his master's name on his heart before banishing him. What the hell? Draigo was now the supreme Grandmaster of the Grey Knights and continued to kick unbelievably high amounts of ass. Eventually Mkar returned, and Draigo went to face him alone. Draigo carved his way through the demonic hordes like a 1000-degree knife cuts through Timmy, and once again fought Mkar. He summoned his plot armor once again, and stabbed the demon in the heart. However, the demon was able to drag Draigo into the realms of chaos with him. Now you might be like, damn, Draigo is gonna get torn to shreds in there, but plot armor transcends the veil between warp and real space. Draigo began tearing the realms a new arsehole. He massacred greater demons in the hundreds, destroyed chaos fortresses like they were made of sand, and was just a general pain in chaos's ass. Eventually chaos stopped trying to kill him because they just literally couldn't. Anything they sent at him got one shot. Sometimes Draigo would briefly be able to return to real space to aid the Imperium, but he would always get pulled back into the warp after kicking ass, as a part of his tit-snitch tier curse. However, just like everyone else's rules, the fall of Cadia and the subsequent fuck-off massive tear in reality has meant that Draigo is appearing more and more in real space, almost like he soon will be free. When that happens, my lordy, Chaos, you are in trouble, boy. Now, despite their wrongdoings, it seems like the Grey Knights learnt from the Months of Shame, as they've been doing some good stuff that put them back in my good books. The first one was by helping the Eldar reclaim some of their soul stones from a greater demon of Slaanesh. The Grey Knights arrived on a desolate Eldar craft world, which had been dog-eared by Slaanesh. They purged the demons on board and recovered many soul stones. Now, instead of keeping them or destroying them, the Grey Knights contacted the Eldar to come, and then they just gave them back. This is cool for two reasons. One, it shows their wisdom in depriving Slaanesh of thousands of Eldar souls, while also showing their compassion by saving the souls of a Xeno race. Two traits that the Emperor embodied above all else. The second cool thing they did was save the Space Wolves. Magnus once again had his eye on the destruction of the Space Wolves, still not over the fact that their daddy kicked his ass 10,000 years earlier. As such, Magnus put together a gnarly plan which saw the entire Fenris system invaded by a huge army of chaos, consisting of Alpha Legion, Nurglites, and other nasty stuff. Magnus had planned to changeling among the Dark Angel ranks in order to try trick the Dark Angels into attacking the Space Wolves. Their plot nearly worked, however the Grey Knights took one look at the changeling and were like, yo, that dude over there is evil as. After that, they landed on the planet and once again fought side by side with Logan. Logan was able to plant his totally not heretical axe in Magnus's nerdy ass, allowing the Grey Knights to banish the demon Primarch. Surprisingly, the Space Wolves were totally down with the population of Fenris being purged after the incident, however, as the scale of chaotic destruction was way higher in Fenris, so it does make sense this time around. Overall, the Grey Knights are a really awesome badass chat-boost space marines that, like everyone else in Warhammer, suffer from the occasional case of shit writing. In saying that, however, they do seem pretty on track right now, and I'm excited to see where their lore progresses to. And that does us for today, guys, the lore of the Grey Knight Space Marine chapter. I've been hoping to cover these guys for quite some time, and I'm glad we have another one ticked off the list. With YouTube continuing to demonetize my ass, I would really appreciate it if you wanted to support the channel and jump on Patreon. With YouTube being my full-time job now, my patrons are a massive reason why I'm able to survive. Just $1 gives you access to everything, including a boatload of Warhammer hentai. Join the Discord for more memes, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.